Let's get started. From a setup standpoint, there are two ways or two components to setting up occurrence tracking. First is under client management, under HR management, under performance, there's an option called corrective actions. With corrective actions, you have several tabs that are available. Occurrences is the one that we are currently on today. And this is where you can identify what type of occurrences do you want to track. So here we have 3 tardies in a month, we have damage to company property, no call, no show, sleeping while on the clock. These are examples of different types of occurrences. As I edit each occurrence, you can see that you can apply a point value to that occurrence. So as an employee gets caught sleeping on the clock, they will get assigned 2 points from an occurrence standpoint. With that, from an action standpoint, you can determine at what point do you ultimately want to take an action and what type of actions are you looking to take. So here we have a first written warning, a second written warning, a documented discussion, final warning, suspension, termination of employee, verbal warning. These are examples of actions that are taken. And then from an authority standpoint, who is going to take these actions with the employee? Is it going to be an HR, manager, supervisor, as an example? And then with policies is where you can ultimately tie it all together. So in this case, there are 2 different policies that have been created. One specifically for HR related occurrences and another one specifically for time occurrences. With each option, and we'll focus on time for now, there is the ability to build in the actual point thresholds. So when do you want that action to occur? So in this case, after the employee accrues 5 points, they will automatically get a verbal warning. After 10 points, they will get the first written warning. After 15 points, second warning, and so forth. There is also the ability to do a reset rule. So in this case, because this is set for calendar year, the points will automatically reset at the first of every year. But there are multiple options as far as the reset rule is concerned. And then the rule set, because I've identified this as a time occurrence, this is tying into the occurrence on the actual time card itself. What type of alerts are going to trigger these occurrences? Now, if I go back to my HR occurrence, it does not have a rule set because it is not attaching itself to the time card. These are just HR related occurrences, things that occur outside of the timekeeping solution itself. Now, with the rule set that we had on the previous screen for the time occurrences, under time management, you will scroll down and now there's an occurrence rule option. And with occurrence rules, this is where you're identifying on the time card what type of alerts are going to trigger that occurrence. So in this case, we have 3. We're going to apply the no call, no show alert anytime there is a no show on the time card, anytime they're a no show. We're going to apply the in late, leave early anytime they are in late, and then we're going to apply the same one when they're out early as well. We just separated that to keep it clean. So what does that look like once the employee receives the occurrence? So under employee management, under human resources, under performance, there are 2 components that we'll focus on today. First is occurrences. This is where the system is identifying those occurrences as they occur. So as you see here, this employee has a couple no call, no shows, which were attached to the time occurrences, which lets me know that it was attached to the time card. And for each occurrence, the value of that occurrence is 3 points. There's also an HR occurrence, which is, in this case, it's rooted in aggressive language, what it has a point value of 1 point. If they're looking to add an HR occurrence to this employee's account, they would simply hit add new, and then they could choose the type of occurrence that they have built out in their list. And then based upon that occurrence, it automatically assigns that point value. Now in this case, you can choose the occurrence date. So we can say we call them today. You can put a description and then a note. And then when I hit save, it now adds that sleeping while on the clock HR occurrence into the employee's occurrence screen itself. Now, because as these occurrences happen and the points start to add up, the corrective actions can automatically kick in as well. So we can see here from a time occurrence standpoint, this employee has it appears to be 12 points that have been assigned to that individual. 4 different occurrences, 3 points each occurrence. So now when we get into corrective actions, the system identifies, all right, we have the verbal warning out there. So now we have that verbal warning in place for that employee. Now, what does this look like on the time card itself? So on the time card itself, if we get under employee self-service under time card, and then we click the alert detail option on the time card, it will automatically show me, in this case for this pay period, those 3 no-show occurrences and the 3 points assigned to each one. So we had one on 9/12, one on 9/13, and one on 9/14. And if we get back into the actual employee's account for occurrences, we can see those dates, 9/12, 9/13, 9/14, and the 3 points each. Now, based upon the schedule, depending on when do these points need to reset, the system in this case will automatically reset at the first of the year. So at the first of the year, this employee will be starting off with 0 points. From a client's perspective, as far as how can they generate reports off that, under reporting, you have client reports. And if we just do a quick search for occurrence, there is 2 different options out there. There's an alert occurrence count report by date range, which means that they can do it from and to date, and there's one also done by payroll run as well. So with this is allowing the client to track 2 different forms of occurrences, one that occurs with the time card, the time entries itself, and one that occurs from an HR's perspective as well.